mess we're about to get into right now.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah.
Hey.
And Tiara.
Hey.
All right, guys. We're back. This is episode 211, King Richard. This is also broadcasting live on Twitch for the first time, so welcome people who are watching on Twitch, as well as people listening in the normal podcast or watching on YouTube. So we're going to jump right into it. So episode 211, this is obviously about the newly released film starring Will Smith, where he plays Richard Williams, who is the father of Venus and Serena Williams, obviously the very famous tennis players. I don't think we have to read the summary for it. You can kind of get the idea of what it is from that. Micah, what were your thoughts?
I mean, maybe you do have to read the summary for certain people.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That would be kind of sad. They're two very famous black tennis players. Come out of your mom's.
Yeah,
they're no,
should have
censored
them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
We can talk about that later. But I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it very much. Will Smith has been trying for a while to get an Oscar, and a lot of the movies that he's been in that are obvious Oscar bait movies just haven't been good. 7 Pounds, I don't think was good. Collateral Beauty, I didn't think was good.
No.
Concussion was okay, but it just didn't. It wasn't there. I think this is his best shot to get an Oscar. I really enjoyed this movie. It's difficult to critique something like this because I didn't really have a problem with any of it. I hear a lot of people say, wow, Will Smith's voice is kind of distracting. It's distracting because it's Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
Like Will Smith is a superstar, right? He's a big enough name where you are like that's the one, I guess, knock I'll give this. I know this is Will Smith playing a role, whereas I did not realize that was John Barenthal until I like really had to pay attention.
Oh, really?
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, that guy's face. I was like, there he is. Like he did not hide in that role at all.
For me, he did. I was like, "Where is John Barenthal?" And then I saw it, and then I couldn't unsee.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
But it's funny because I actually watched an interview with that actual guy. He does a pretty good impression, even though like he's not affecting a voice. Like his sayings and things like that are like dead on. Like, like pop the popcorn and all of that stuff. Like that guy really talks like that, which is weird as an actual human being, like to speak that way. But yeah, I agree with you. It is Will Smith doesn't necessarily disappear in the role, which is it is what it is. He's too big, right? Like you said, like, he's just too big of a star. Yeah.
Yeah. But I get it though. I get it. And if you can get past the voice, I think the acting here is tremendous. There was a couple times where I swore my wife was cutting onions.
Right.
These young actors are really, really good. Anjanou Ellis has one of the best scenes in the movie with Will Smith, arguably the best scene. There's that scene, and there's one more scene towards the end where I just was like, yeah, yep, this is all right. But yeah, man, this is a must see. This is a must see, and I'm rooting for Will Smith to get his Best Actor Oscar, because if this ain't it, I don't know what it is, man.
I think if this doesn't work, he might have to put on a wig and play Serena Williams in a biopic, because there's nothing left. Tiara, what were your thoughts?
I loved everything about this movie. I have nothing bad to say other than I wish it were longer.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Because this was pretty long, by the way. It was 2 hours and 24 minutes, I think.
I know it. I swear it didn't feel like it. I was like it's in fact actually when we got to the end, I was like, oh my god, wow, look at this, literally every little black girl in the world. Okay, so what's the next scene? Are we going to see her another match? And then like it rolled to credits, and I was like, oh, I was like, I wanted more. Really good to see Sanaya Sidney in a role like this. So I don't know if y'all have seen her before, but she was on the show called The Passage on Fox. That was really good, and then Fox canceled it after one season. I think it was canceled like on a cliffhanger too. But she was really good in that when she was younger. I thought she killed the role as Venus Williams. I understand what y'all mean by when you say like it's Will Smith is too big. So it's like you can, it's just him playing a role. But I actually thought he disappeared into the role. Like in the beginning of the movie, like his accent or the accent he was emulating from Richard Williams, like that was kind of like getting to me. Like I was kind of laughing a little bit because I'm like, oh, Will, what are you doing?
Stop that.
But then like the more I kept watching, I was like, oh wow, I don't see Will Smith at all. I'm like, this is really their dad who really just showed up to set and started acting. I almost cut onions, like, cause I texted my dad. I was like, hey, there's a movie. I mean, I didn't say that, but
oh damn, damn, all right.
No shade or anything like that.
Poor man sitting at home is like, oh, she calling? Nah, just want to let you know about this movie you should watch. Click.
I mean, it was the middle of the workday today because I watched it while I was working. But I texted him. I was like, hey, there's this movie called King Richard about Richard Williams, and my dad is a huge tennis fan. Like he made me watch it because he was like, look at these little girls. They got bees in their hair. You see, that one is Venus and this one is Serena. But this was at a time when all the hype was about Venus. So like this was before Serena got like really big. And just watch this movie made me kind of like get all misty-eyed because I'm thinking like this guy believed in his daughters so much. He probably even more than they could even see at the time, that even at 14 years old, they're talking about how confident they are. And I think one of the best gifts a parent could give to their child is being confident in front of other people, especially if you're a little black girl and having to face white people who will doubt you and your abilities and question them at any turn. Ingenue Ellis is great. I agree, Micah. The scene that you're referring to is probably the best. I feel like when it comes to opinions about this movie, the only opinion I really care about, well, is mine, of course, but there are definitely certain people who I'm just like, you don't need to talk about it. Like you don't need to talk about your review and how annoyed you were and how you wish this movie centered Serena and Venus, when it's clearly about the guy who did everything he could to make sure that his daughters were the best. And I'm like, I wish I would feel like saying like, I feel like telling my parents, I'm like, why didn't you push me like that? I could be famous too.
It could have been me.
It could have been
it's
me.
Their fault.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
Of course.
You got to blame somebody. Absolutely.
Of course. But I loved it. I have nothing bad to say. I'm gonna watch it again. I hope Will Smith wins. It would be a shame if I won't be surprised if he doesn't, but I hope he does.
Okay. Look, I agree with all your sentiments. Like so I started watching this fairly late, which is not good for me just because like it's late at night. I'm fucking tired. And I thoroughly from the jump, I was like all in and just completely drawn in. You know, I saw somebody make a comment that they thought that Will Smith's performance was a bit showy, which I think I understand what they mean by that. But I feel like they don't know what Richard Williams sounds like, like the type of dude he was. Like he was he's a less obnoxious version of what's Big Baller Brand guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like
the Ball brothers. Dad.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
like he cared so much about his children, you know, especially about those girls, and you know, it's he was so over the top just because that was the nature of him pushing them. There was a lot of criticism, which we'll get into, about, why was this sort of centered on Richard Williams and not the sisters. And to me, it's like, there would be no them without him. And right. It is, I saw a comment like, well, he was a part of them making it, but it should really be about them. No, he wasn't a part of them making it. They wouldn't have made it right. without him. Like right. There are moments in the movie where he literally just pushes his way into these high society moments just because he's like, my girls deserve to be given a chance. That has nothing to do with their physical talent. Like, it has right. nothing to do with it. They're kids. So they would have never been seen. There are plenty of, great athletes in the middle of Compton or other poor areas in this country that never get a chance because no one famous enough or powerful enough sees them. And right. that was basically going to be their lot in life as well. But Richard Williams was like, nah, not today.
And he was 10 times in a row.
Right. And it's just, it's a testament to a lot of things, for lack of a better word, it's a testament to Richard Williams's will, right? And his absolute ability to have a plan and say, this is what is going to happen, and I'm not going to let anything deter me from that plan or like push me off very much. And that I think should be respected. I like his reasoning because I didn't know, like, much like I think a lot of people, like I didn't follow tennis to the point where I knew who Venus was before she played pro. Like I just didn't. I didn't know. Why would I know that? So I didn't realize like he had kept her out of competition for 3 years. So all of this news and gossip and everything had been building over all of that time. And then when she debuted, it was like, okay, this is a huge deal. So I wasn't aware of that. And that time frame really showed who he was as a father, right? Like his reasoning wasn't like, we got to get more money. His reasoning was, I want to make sure that my girls, if this tennis shit doesn't work out, that they aren't completely incapable of living their lives as intelligent women right. moving forward. That to me says a lot, right? It says a ton. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It is a bit long, but I don't think there's any wasted story, right? So it's not like, oh, it's I would normally say, hey, this is a bit long. You could cut this amount, but I don't know what you cut. Like, I really don't. Like, I thought everything that you saw was pretty damn important. So yeah, look, if Will Smith doesn't win the Oscar, he certainly should be in the conversation. Like, I think if he's not nominated, I think that's a real snub, and I'd hate to see that. But yeah, I loved it. I thought he was fantastic. I thought the young girls were great. Like you said, the woman who plays his wife was excellent. That scene was, we're going to talk about it. That scene was powerful and it was really good. And it proved that people who had certain criticisms of this movie wrote their articles before they saw it.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
So I thought that was funny. Like, why are they going to mention this? They mentioned it like pretty straightforward and like in his face. So yeah, I thought it was great. I really did. Like almost zero complaints, honestly.
I was reading about Richard Williams on Wikipedia, of course, but apparently he has another kid that was like born in 2012. I was like,
what?
Dude. I was like, come on, yo.
Yeah, you gotta relax. Yo, who are you? My dad? Like, come on. Yeah, my dad's got like my dad's got like a 10-year-old, which is crazy. Like,
wow.
You gotta.
Wow.
Maybe he's slightly older than that, but like, relax.
And he's like almost 70.
Who?
Your dad.
Almost 80, my man.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, relax.
Ooh. Did y'all watch the extras on HBO?
No, I did not. What did you find on there?
I mean, there's really, it's just like a couple set visits from Venus and Serena. Will Smith talks about stepping into the role. They really talk about how this is really the story of like the American dream and how like your family is the human success story. And with someone like Richard, who was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, and being possibly like one of the most selfless fathers to push his kids to success like that, unapologetically. Like that is the American dream. So little stuff like that.
Yeah. By the way, somebody said that they felt like Ingenue Ellis deserves an Oscar nod too. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. No. Like when I say Will Smith deserves a nod, that doesn't mean like negatively against anyone else in this cast. Look, I think the kids were amazing. I really do. Like the little girl who played Venus. She was awesome. She really was. She was quite great.
So apparently she's left-handed, and both girls had to go through like rigorous tennis lessons, but she had to learn how to become dominant with her right hand, and apparently that's pretty difficult to do when you're learning tennis. So, and that impressed Serena when she heard that. Wow. So, and they were saying in the extras how the little girl who plays Serena cried after she met her, and after Serena left. I was like. And you see the moment when they meet both sisters, and like their faces just like, oh my God, I'm playing Serena and I'm playing Venus, and they're right here, like looking at me. It's incredible.
So before we get into the sort of the beat by beats of the movie, what are your thoughts? I'll go to Micah. What are your thoughts on the criticism that why was this about someone else and not about Venus and Serena? Go ahead, Micah.
So I've noticed that this criticism is coming from one type of person.
Tall people?
That could be a characteristic of them. Radical feminists. Now, look, I am not one.
Wait, I'm sorry. What kind of radical feminist? What do they look like? Get more specific.
They look like the palm of my hand. They white. And look, I'm including men in that also because men classify themselves as feminists.
Absolutely.
And it just, but the majority of what I see comes from white women. And, it's another example of how white women will use black women as a prop for feminism for shit that just doesn't matter. But when it's time, like when push comes to shove, like they, in the words of Bill Burr, swing their Gucci booted foot around and will leave black women in the dust. Yeah. Like it's a classic example of it. It's performative, and it's illustrative of a problem that we on the left have, and it's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Now, look, I understand that. I don't know what radical feminists think. I believe in equality. I'm not some fucking caveman. But at the same time, like, it's okay to give a dude props, especially when the
Tara's like, when? Why? Why would you do that? That sounds gross.
And I get it. Men get props all the time, right? Sure. Men don't need props. Men get props all the time. But if these women want to tell this story about their dad, I mean, the least you can do is watch it before you criticize it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying you got to like the movie. I'm not saying you got to like Richard Williams. I'm not saying don't bring up all of the stuff in his past. You know, he has like multiple kids from multiple women and all that. Like, whatever, if you're offended by that. But like, I would watch the movie first before you jump to that big of a conclusion. And if you just don't want to watch the movie, like if you just be like, I don't want to watch the movie. But just to be like, well, why they call it King Richard? And why does he have to be king? Why isn't it Queen Price?
14.
Oracene.
Oracene, is that how you pronounce her name? Oracene?
Yeah. Yes.
Hey man, look, I Bumbleclot and all that Jamaican shit. I don't understand how to pronounce it.
Tiara came in. She came in hard with that Oracene. It's my grandmother's name.
That's the name of my think piece for this movie.
Yeah. Why not Queen Oracene?
But you know why? Because she wasn't the one on TV dancing and hooting and hollering and stuff. Like,
yeah.
And again, the movie, you know, talks about that. They're like, you kind of making this all about you, aren't you? You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't on Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, he was. And yeah, man, I don't understand that criticism. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm saying I don't understand it.
I'm saying don't have it. Shut up. Like, that's my attitude. Shut up. Look, everything is not like, my big thing is Venus and Serena signed on as executive producers after they saw the cut of the movie. Not before, where they're just like, make a movie, and then like, we didn't really like it after all. They saw the movie and were like, we're giving our thumbs up. Like, I watched an interview with Will Smith. I read an article about it. Like, he confirmed the same thing, right? It was like, they made the movie, they sat in a theater, and he was like, it was the most nerve-wracking 2 hours of his entire career to have the two of them there. And he was like, he looked over, and they were crying a couple of times, and then they got done with the movie, and they were like, this was amazing. He was like, oh, thank God. Like, so, like, that's a lot for an actor, right? So because they signed on as executive producers, one, that to me is an all right, like, clearly they are okay with the portrayal of their father, right? There is that other aspect, which is this, and I would call these people so-called feminists. I would, because feminism has nothing to do with wanting to rip down men. That's not what feminism is. That's misandry. That's misandry, right? Exactly, and that's what dumb guys who are like, "Oh, I hate feminists." That's what you think a feminist is, and these women are not fucking helping to define it properly. It's about equality of races, and two incredibly powerful, capable, smart women should be able to make the decision to say, "I want to celebrate my father." We should all be so fucking lucky. Tiara's like, never. She didn't even call her father to tell him to watch a damn movie. Right. So yeah, I do have a real problem with that criticism, but I do think you're right though. Like, people often want to use people like Venus and Serena in a way that is convenient for them, right? They're women, they're doing it, it's great, they're kicking ass. Oh, they're black? I don't like any of that shit. Don't talk about that. Like, there is nothing about those two girls that you can pretend that they are not black. Everything about them is black. And a lot of these women who wrote these articles, these white women who wrote this article, were desperately trying to ignore that fact. And when Richard Williams, their black ass father, is the lead of this movie, it is impossible to ignore. Good. I'm glad you're mad. Stay mad. Like, good. I think it's a ridiculous criticism about this movie. Tiara, tell us about how men are terrible.
Not men, not all men, just two in particular who bully me on this podcast every week.
Mute her microphone. Mute her microphone. We're here to listen to equal voices. Mute her mic. That's fine. Go ahead.
So here's a tweet that has been making the rounds on Twitter for the last couple of days. Dr. Jessica Taylor says, did they seriously make a film called King Richard about the success of Serena and Venus Williams, but it's about their dad, Richard? I get that this has annoyed people, you blacks, but I just, that's exactly what she's talking about, because she was getting lit up by black people on Twitter.
Oh, yo, they were in her mentions hard.
She's like, but I genuinely didn't expect a film about two of the most powerful, successful, and amazing black female athletes to be named after a man or center a man. I would have loved this film to be all about them and not a man. That's it, really. I don't need white women to get fake mad on black people's behalf, especially black women's behalf.
I agree with you
about things that we're not mad about. Like, people, I'm pretty sure there are probably some black folks who are like, why did this center him? But from what I've seen, the response has been, no, you should be celebrating this man for exactly what Jay said earlier, which is there is no Venus and Serena without him. Like they don't make it on their own, staying in Compton if he's not pushing for them behind the scenes all the time. I mean, yeah, he might have like forced them to play tennis in the rain. I'm pretty sure Micah was like, I agree.
Micah can't wait to make his son cut the grass in the rain. Got 3 years left.
But it's like, how can you erase someone who is the reason why these girls are so successful? Yeah. And not only that, but continue to face adversity as they got older, and especially like just blatant racism from the tennis world. It is okay for white people to not have an opinion on this movie, or even just if you have an opinion, you don't need to express it because we're not asking you to. I agree with Jay in saying like, I am telling them to not have a critique of this movie. Just watch it and then go on about you. And just shut up. That's it.
Shut up. Like the thing is, you don't like your point, Tiara, is perfect. You are fake mad at a thing that black people aren't mad about. Black people are just like, right. Hey man, this movie's really good. Black women are like, yo, it's not like, ironically, the reason why they're fake mad, I would hazard a guess, is that the movie doesn't deal with they're used to seeing black fathers be absent, right?
Yeah.
Shitty dads who are either absent, abusive, or a little bit of both, right? They don't like the fact that the narrative is different. They can't understand why, with all of the things that we've seen about black fathers, why would these two powerful black women want to celebrate a black man? Because they didn't have a fucking dad like that. And not all black fathers are like that. The problem is you have leaned so long and so hard on that stereotype that you start to believe that it's true for all of them. Right. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, he was, I'm pretty sure they probably took liberties. I don't know what parts of the movie are fiction, but like, just from what we saw, like, I mean, he literally got his ass kicked for those girls.
Oh, I don't think that part is all that fake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, part of it is real. Yeah,
part of it is real. Okay.
Real. Maybe not the gang member being killed like incredibly conveniently in front of him, but I mean,
him going after him with a gun. Him going after him with a gun. Yeah, that's real.
That part, I believe that was some black dad shit. I was like, no, I didn't need to read up whether that was real. I was like, that feels real to me.
It's almost like they can't believe that a poor black man, or at least in this film, a regular dumb nigga, can have such a major vision for his children when they're young. I mean, and everything that he envisioned for them came true. And it's like they can't grasp the fact that this uneducated, poor black man could dream so big for his two little black girls.
Right. And protect
that's what it is. And protect them at the same time. Like, I think, and it's like, I think they were probably also expecting that he was going to be that dad who's like, if you're not, if you lose a match, then why are we even training? Like, no, he made it a point for them to be kids. Made it a point for them to get an education.
Like the white dads.
Like the white dads, right. Right. Like that is in the movie for a very specific reason. Because those white dads were just like, what are you doing? Like all the little white girls were getting mad and like hit the racket against it. Yeah, they were pissed. But he taught his kids how to be humble.
Yeah. And something else. I mean, there's just little moments where he's like, you're bragging about your win. None of that. Ain't no bragging out here. You played a match. Everybody did their best. And now we go home. No tennis talk.
Yep. Absolutely.
Black fatherhood.
Look, we're going to talk about it. I didn't mention it in my general, like, quick part of the review. I cried mad times, yo. I'm a grown ass man. Leave me alone.
Are you, Jay, are you going to put your daughter in sports classes and just be like, you're going to be the greatest of all time?
No, but my daughter has like weird, like, she's a pretty athletic kid. I feel like she's going to be some sort of, at least like I could see her being a high school athlete of sorts. I'm not I don't really care about sports in that way. Like, this is our way to make it out. Like, you gonna be rich. No, if she wants to play and she's really good, great, then I'll encourage it. But I'm not going to like. You don't have to go kick a soccer ball in the middle of the rainstorm. Like,
and also how dare Serena and Venus love and appreciate their dad for what he did for them. How dare they? Like, what are they supposed to do? Be upset about at him for pushing them?
Do you know? Okay, so apparently on any tennis player, any pro tennis player's Wikipedia, they have the amount of prize money they've won from tournaments. Did you know that Serena Williams is like $94 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best tennis player of all time.
Right. Like, as far as prizes, right? Like, obviously playing would be subjective to whoever you like, but obviously she would be considered, one of the best, if not the best. But as far as winning, she's definitely the top. But she's number one. Venus is number two. Like, and she's number one, like, by more than double, which is crazy. She's number one. Venus is number two. And she's been the top money, like, prize earner. This is not endorsements. This is just winning prize money in tournaments. She's a top prize winner in, like, 6 out of the top 10 years in tennis history.
Wow.
She's a monster.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We could all be so lucky to have a parent that believed in us this much to push our talents from young age. Because I mean, I think it's a huge gamble to put that kind of pressure on children and hope they don't turn into Jennifer Capriati, who ended up like turning to drugs. But I think it just takes a special kind of forward-thinking parent to do that for their children.
Yeah, I mean,
and he changed and also just one more thing, like because he pushed Serena and Venus so much, they literally changed tennis for generations after them.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
again,
it's not even a question. It's not even a question.
I mean, I remember wanting beads in my hair after watching them. Like, I'm like, because my dad made me watch them, he bought me my first tennis racket and he took me to tennis courts just so I could play just like them.
I started playing tennis after they went pro. Are you kidding me? It was like, black kids can do it. I was like, maybe I'm a prodigy. Turns out I was not. But,
so
yeah, of course.
It just makes me even more annoyed about people, mostly white people and definitely mostly white women, who just try to minimize that kind of impact. And I'm just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And the fact that you could say that possibly without watching the movie or going into the movie with that kind of prejudiced opinion, I think says a lot about them.
Look, if there's no Richard Williams, there's no Williams sisters. If there's no Williams sisters, guess what? There's no Naomi Osaka either.
Right.
Right? Like, Naomi Osaka got to play Serena, I guess like not too long ago. Like, that's her playing the person she looked up to.
Right.
When she was a little girl, like, holy shit, brown people can play and be the best in tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's inspired to do the same thing. So the next, little girl, whatever color she is, sees Naomi Osaka and is like, I want to be like her. That's the legacy of Richard Williams, dude. And that's the legacy of Serena and Venus Williams. Like this movie isn't taking away from Venus and Serena's raw talent. It absolutely isn't. He just focused it, right? And it, like, any great player, any of them, has to have somebody who said, holy shit, you're really good. Let's hone that, right? Like, every professional athlete, like the greatest ones, all of them. Like, otherwise their talents would be squandered. So, yeah, I think, and for him to be their father is also a huge thing. And look, again, I don't want to downplay their mother's role either, because it's actually instrumental, especially in Serena's abilities, right? As Richard's focusing on Venus. Like, there's no, they don't shy away from pointing out the fact that while Venus is getting this like all-star coach, Serena's just training with her mom, and she's just as good, at that point, if not in obviously over time becomes better than Venus. So, there's nothing to be said. Like, the movie doesn't do a thing of like completely ignoring the mom. They put her where she is historically in their lives, which is,
Right.
she's in the shadow of King Richard, but she wasn't no fucking slouch either.
Right.
She really wasn't. So,
Right. And also their story, Richard Williams' story is also Venus and Serena's story.
Yeah.
So there it's not like it's not that like we're gonna just focus on him and fuck these little girls. No. They are still an integral part of the film. It's just that criticism, it's probably made me more angry than I thought it would.
Yeah.
So let's we're gonna kind of fly through and only hit the major stuff, right? We see a montage early of Richard Williams just kind of putting feet to the pavement, man, and trying to get his kids a coach that'll do it for free. Like there's the rub, dude. Like,
I was kidding. Unless you're gonna do it.
We see shots of them playing at their local court training. And, this court, it's incompetent. It's a piece of crap. Quite frankly, I'm surprised they have tennis courts in Compton. I mean, not surprised now. They're probably all over the place now.
Oh, yeah. They let's see. Come on. You never know.
We get to our first, well, not our first, but we get to a dad moment here where it's like, yeah, this is a dad movie. When they're practicing and it's like, all right, it's time to go, and these niggas are hitting on.
Not exactly
they're hitting on the one of the daughters, Tunde, and Tunde is a child, and
she's like 16, I think he says.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, and these dudes are grown. If they're not grown, they're grown enough. Richard Williams, he's like, all right, it's time to pack up, right? And he approaches him, right? And Richard Williams he ain't Superman, he ain't some big, strong athlete. You know what I mean? Like
his head knocked off.
Right. But he goes up to him and he's just like, hey, I told you stop, right? Like he's sticking up for his kids, right? And he gets his ass kicked because of it.
Yeah, he does.
And it's just like,
you doing that? You gonna walk up to some gang?
Yeah, I am. If somebody's talking to if somebody's hitting on my daughter, like, nah, man. I gotta do something. And look, maybe that's like, I don't know if that's misogynistic of me, right? Like, it's my daughter. If it's my son, I'm gonna hang back, see what he does, right? If it's my daughter, I'm going up there and I'm gonna say something,
Well, Micah's son, in fairness, Micah's son, who's 2, for people who are new to the show, would be very strong because he had been cutting the grass for the last 7 months of his life. He got strong upper body, so he good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. Training them young.
It's raining. It's raining, Dad. Cut the grass.
He started taking these kids out at 4 to just get them, so guess what? 2 more years. He's cutting that goddamn grass. And I got proof right there that it works.
Yeah, he could be the greatest lawn man in the history of the world. Yeah,
he can have his own landscaping company. Do it
by age 8.
Michael, what if you have a nosy neighbor across the street who calls child services on you?
Yo, that woman looks exactly like one of our friends. I looked at my wife and I said, "Yo, that's Kitty. Like what is she doing in this movie?" And that's something that Kitty would do too.
Yeah, she probably got a hooker for her daughter. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
Dude was like, remind me what quarter she on. I was like, okay, God bless. I mean, that was a pretty good comeback. I'm not mad at Richard for that. Like, I really was.
I mean, in case we were big, we were giving him big ups and all that, but like, Richard's from Compton, like
right. Like, he ain't from Orlando. Like, knock it off. He's from Shreveport, actually. So,
Jay, you doing that? You going up to them to them.
No,
gang
you don't
members?
fuck with my daughter, yo. I'm a psychopath. You saw what happened when Will Smith got that racket in his hand. Yeah, that's about right. No, yo.
TR, let me tell you a little
No,
story.
yo.
TR.
I'm a lunatic. Don't
Jay
mess
and
with- I'm a lovely person,
Jay and
but
I
I'm a
went
crazy
to-
person. Leave me alone.
Jay and I went to high school together, and I remember one time he was driving, or was it your mom driving the Beretta?
My mom was driving.
Your mom was driving the Beretta, and this guy
Yeah,
named
Beretta, the fanciest car black people could afford back then.
this guy named Hugh
Not
cut
a fan.
his mom off in traffic, and they ended up going to the same spot. And Jay, the nice one, as he likes to say, Jay,
I'm a nice
he
guy.
gets out of the car and proceeds to get in the face of Hugh Ben. I guess I shouldn't have gave his government name out, but anyway, he got in the face of Hugh and was getting ready to fight him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his mother, who was one of the toughest women I know, she was like, "No, Jay, no, it was an accident." He was getting ready to fight this dude because some guy allegedly cut off his.
No, it wasn't no
mom's
allegedly nothing.
Beretta.
No, and it wasn't just a, in fairness to me, and I like to be fair to me, in fairness to me, it wasn't that he just cut my mom off. He cut my mom off, and then like my mom was like, "Hey," and he was like, "Fuck you," and I was like, and I could feel myself becoming several degrees warmer in the car. I ain't need no heater on that day. No, I got out, and I believe what I said is, "I'll fucking kill you." I believe it's what I said. No, I was fucking furious.
I believe this.
No, it's a true story. It's a true
No, I
story.
believe it.
And that dude is
100%
significantly. Yo, I was 125 pounds, soaking wet. I was tiny.
I've seen what y'all looked like in high school, which is
Right.
like the visual I have in my head. I'm like this.
No, I was a lunatic.
Jay, like little tiny Jay.
No, yo, and that guy was like, he
"I'll
looked
fucking
like
kill
a
you."
he looked like an 18-year-old on TV, where like
Yeah.
they look like adults. You know, he's like
Yeah.
like a full beard and shit.
Yeah, Hugh wasn't like a fat dude, but he looked like
He
you said,
plays
he looked like a
sports.
25-year-old.
Right,
Right.
he played
looked like a
like physical
25-year-old
sports.
17.
I swam, okay, like very different body types, right? And I didn't look like fucking an Olympic athlete at all, just skinny. So no, but like don't disrespect people in my family. I don't like that shit. Like I don't take kindly to disrespect, and I don't suffer fools well. Like I don't. No, when he hit that gang member in the face with the racket.
I loved it. I was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Look,
Yeah.
look, let me just tell you something. That is the least I could do. Like, because he hit that dude, he turned around and hit that dude. That was a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
you supposed to hit that dude and you just start swinging at everybody else. Like, you don't hit him and then like trying to have a conversation. Nah, fuck all that. I'm trying to hit everybody. Like, because look, if you swinging on a gang member, you gonna get jumped. You're gonna get jumped. So you better either prepare your last will and testament, or you better try to hurt everybody there. That's the best you can do and get a gun.
I
That's-
totally believe
That's it.
one that Jay, you will show up with the gun.
No, that part is very real. Yo, never, yo.
The scene we're talking about is the second confrontation that he had with the gang members. And the gang members were giving him shit. And like you said, he hit the leader with the racket and just started beating the dog shit out of him. Right. Then he gets jumped. That happened. Right. And he lost a tooth. And apparently Richard Williams is like, I didn't get my teeth fixed because I wear my toothlessness as a badge of courage. Right. But the scene where he goes out and he gets his pistol, and that
He's a security guard during the day.
because he's a security guard.
Yeah.
He didn't get a pistol, but he did have a shotgun, and he was looking for the dude. And the dude didn't get shot in front of him, but he found the dude already shot, and police were there.
Oh wow. Okay, so that did happen. Okay, interesting.
Right. So it didn't happen like right in front of his face, like I'm walking over here and I'm gonna fucking kill your ass. Like, no, somebody did it for him. And he was just like, oh, all right, well, problem solved.
Thank you, Jesus. See what happens when you believe in the power of prayer.
See, blessed and highly favored.
Won't he do it? Well, he will. He will murder people in your name. That's how Jesus works. Yeah, no, but like again, this is just showing how far he's willing to go, right? Like he is willing to literally put his life on the line for his daughters. And relax, person in the in the comment section, just relax. But
thank you.
All right, just calm down. Oh, did you figure out how to get on Twitch? Look at the comments now.
You can see. I can see the comments right on the thing that we're using.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's convenient. So, yeah. Look, I think that's a really interesting testament to him, and I think that's pretty dope. It's fucking scary, but it's a testament to how far he was willing to go. Then, correct me if I'm wrong, Micah. Like right soon after that, he heads back home at one night after having Venus and Serena playing tennis in the rain, the Micah special, if you will, of parenting, and like the police are there with like Child Protective Services or some shit.
So we're not that far yet. He who does Tom Goldwing play? He ends up meeting he ends up
Scandal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that is the president for Scandal. Oh my god.
Tony Goldwyn.
He ends up Tony Goldwyn. He ends up getting in touch with or just kind of just walking onto a court with that guy Pete Sampras and
John McEnroe.
John McEnroe.
But I'm so glad you're actually on the scene, right? Because that is a perfect example of why that argument of like they would have made it without Richard Williams. He just walked into a club where Pete Sampras and John McEnroe were playing and was just like, hey, you need to watch my daughters hit a couple of balls around. Do you know how insane that is? Like,
yeah.
But he just made that happen. That's incredible.
And then he was like, Pete, you good if we just hit around? And Pete's like, it's fine with me. And he's like, you are the only person that has an issue with it. So what we gonna do? I love it.
I just love like that. To me, I was just like, all right, my nigga, I see you. Like I was just like, that was dope, man. Like to believe in, because he didn't go by himself and was like, hey, I want you to set this shit up. He brought his kids with him.
Yep.
Which is also an incredibly bold move, right? Like you kind of using the kids. Like I get it. Like I'm not mad at
using them
it.
as props.
Yeah.
Using them as props.
You're not going to disappoint these lovely children, are you? You piece of shit, right? Like so, I can respect the hustle of that, right? And it's really dope to see a guy who was just like, I refuse to give up on my kids. Right. Like he's like, I'm going to make this happen for them because this is the right thing to do. And I just thought that was incredible. Yep. I really
not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
And he's gotten and also like in the montages before that, we see him going to people handing out like pamphlets about his girls, and you see people like, have you tried basketball?
Yeah, and I was like, that's offensive.
Nigga, I was so pissed, especially as a tall black person.
Who can't play basketball?
Have you tried basketball? Who can't play any sport, let alone basketball?
Are you serious?
Nah, he's terrible.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I am fucking terrible.
He really is.
Oh wow.
I can't play sports. Yo. I can't play sports.
If people listening at home or watching, if you know the episode, I think it's an early episode of The Office where they're playing basketball and Stanley, the black guy in the office, like Michael chooses him to be on the team, and he's like the worst basketball. That's Micah. Like that's
like,
me. He's the worst.
Wow, you're a black person that can't play sports. We really are a diverse podcast.
the few, the proud, the people that can't play sports. I remember a friend of mine. He was like, "Oh man, you should come with us to play volleyball. You'd be really good at it." Joke's on you.
You sure?
I ain't trying to take a volleyball to the face, man. Get out of here.
Wow. Oh wow.
And I sucked at
it. I
so.
played sports. I played basketball as a kid.
Oh, I played. Yeah, I played.
I was there.
I mean, I was actually
I
good
was an
though.
incredible. Yeah, no, let's
Oh.
not go crazy now. I'm not good. No.
Wow.
That was. I felt my father just be just. You ever just feel your parent just be disappointed, like just the look on their face, like they don't even have to say nothing. Now imagine your father actually saying it. Like,
I'm
so,
sorry.
yeah.
Damn, that's the best you can do? Really?
I'm sorry, Michael. I never had those experiences. My parents, they put me in classes and they were just like, "Yeah, you're really good. Keep going. We're proud of you." Even when I lost games.
No.
I like how your dad was like, "This is the worst day of my life. I can't believe it."
Why are you even here? What happened?
When you get home, you go cut the grass twice. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. You wasting my money, man.
Well, you better be smart.
Yeah, exactly. You better be smart because this athletic shit ain't working out. Like, all right,
You can't even do a layup? A layup? A layup?
You're almost
Yo, did he say that to you? Did he say that to you?
I remember it. So, and look, he was right. I can't do a layup, guys.
Hey.
Oh, that is so funny.
Oh,
I'm so
shit.
sorry.
I'm not.
Don't
That's
be.
good. That's comedy
It's fine.
gold. That's comedy gold. God damn.
Let's see, where are we? So yeah, he gets them in front of Paul Cohen, and Paul Cohen is like, "All right, I'll teach you." And they go home and they're like, we got a coach. And then his wife is like, he gonna coach both of them for free? Yeah, about that. No, he's gonna coach Venus, and Serena is just gonna. I'm a videotape everything he says. Right, I'm gonna videotape everything he says, and then Serena can look at that too.
Which is definitely as good as getting actual coaching, right? Like just watching a video. That's how that.
I mean, if you're Taskmaster, maybe, but
yeah, you gotta be there.
So there's a a couple of coaching montages where Paul Cohen is like trying to Paul Cohen, the professional tennis coach, is coaching the Venus, and Richard is just like, okay, but like this is what you need to do though. And
right.
it's he's being a parent, and it's just like, but I'm gonna tell you, okay, all right, you know everything, all right, like I know that kind of exasperation from Richard Williams. All right, Mr. Paul Cohen, Mr. Tennis Man, you know everything, fine.
And see, that's where I think people were like,
open stance. I want the open stance.
But the thing was, he wasn't wrong. Like that,
right.
Like he was absolutely right. And it's funny because, there's obviously a moment we'll talk about later on where it's just like, they just assume, even though he's got these great kids, they just assume that they're great from like just raw talent. Like they have raw talent, but that's not why they're as good as they are. They're good because they also had a hell of a coach.
Kind of like these stupid ass people who are saying stupid shit on Twitter. Basically, that's kind of what they're saying.
Yeah, and they don't realize that those white people in the movie were not villains, but they were just like proven wrong time and time again, just like these people were also proven wrong. Yeah, so you're absolutely
right. When the obvious answer is it's because their dad coached them for so long, but for whatever reason, we'll never know why that cannot be an option.
No, because because in their eyes he's just some dumb nigga, and how could he possibly be worthy of doing what these I'm sure multi-million-dollar coaches are able to do? I mean, Richard Williams arguably is the greatest tennis coach of all time.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and somehow he was able to build these two little girls into absolutely the two best female tennis players
without the bells and whistles of kids who had the resources to do so.
Right.
At that age.
Exactly. I mean, look, that goes to, just as an aside real fast, like that goes to this notion of, the sort of theory of the black rose, the black rose that grows in the ghetto, right? Like under massive pressure and lack of resources, certain people rise to the occasion where they seemingly could never do, right? Like
Right.
Jay-Z is a perfect example of that, right? He is a person who has risen to incredible financial and influential heights where he started with nothing, right? And so he used the shit that he was given and made his way. So like the Williams sisters are the same way. And like it's interesting because I don't know why white people are still shocked by that. Like, but they still seem to be like, how could this happen? Like, there's that conversation that Richard has with the two white guys in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Where,
why it's so incredible?
why is this so incredible? Like, if they had the resources that you guys had, they would have been a million times better than they are now, and they're still a million times better than all of you, right? Like, so it's interesting. Like, why are you surprised? There are amazing people everywhere who can do things, but they're just not given their chance. They just need a dad or a mom or whoever to believe in them and to push them. So.
So quickly we see Oracene training Serena. She's
Queen
like,
Oracene.
I know you feel bad. Queen Oracene. And she's like, I know you feel bad, but like, I got you, right? Because that's what black moms do, right? Like, nah, you ain't second. I got you.
Pick up the pieces from black fathers who've messed up. God damn it. Message.
Look, so Paul is like, hey, look, if you want to get good, you got to play other people, right? You got to play other people. You got to get into juniors. And it took some convincing, but eventually Williams is like, all right, let's go play some juniors. And we see basically a montage of Serena just being a badass in the juniors.
Good Lord.
At one point, she's won so many like first place trophies, and they're coming home. And look, this is a parenting moment, right? Because that's what this movie is about. This movie is about a man and his very unique parenting style. And they're in the van, and they're all like, we rocked it, like we got it, like we are the champions of the world, right? And Richard is like, all right, I'm gonna pull over, you go inside this this bodega or whatever they call it in California, and you go get me a Sprite because I'm black and that's all black people drink, right? and they go out, and he pulls off after, and he was, before they got there, he was all like, look, stop blowing yourself up. You got to be humble. You got to be humble, right? Like, you did a job, you did what you're supposed to do. What, you want, a cookie? Like just chill. No more tennis talk. They kept talking about tennis. Pulls over, says, get me a Sprite and a quart of water. And and they go in there, and he pulls off. And Oracene is like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, I told them.
Micah, this actually feels like something that you would do. Like, I thought about you doing this scene. I was like, wow, this is just a preview of what's going to happen when Micah's son acts up.
I mean, you can't let kids get a big head, man. Especially boys, yo. Especially boys.
It's dangerous.
Like,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, man. You can't. You gotta be firm but fair with boys, man. Like if I ever have a daughter, I mean, I'm out of look. She can do whatever she wants because I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
But boys, you gotta, you really do have, because that's how if you're not firm with boys, like, that's how you get all these knuckleheads that's running around right now.
Yo, he said knuckleheads. Yo, you old as shit. Listen to you. There'll be no knuckleheads in my house. That's what I said. I
mean, we on Twitch. I'm trying to curb the cursing a little bit, but
on Twitch,
I don't want my.
Don't people lose that contract for saying nigga on Call of Duty or some shit? Get out of here.
But I don't want my son to be a nigga, yo. Like, I really don't.
I hear you.
I don't want him to be a fucking. I don't want him to be an asshole. So I don't mind this type of parenting style, but at the same time, I'm gonna do it to scare him, right? Like, my wife won't have to.
He was serious about them 3 miles.
No, he wasn't. Yo, he wasn't playing. He was like 3 miles.
I ain't going
double time. Like, get out of here.
I'm not going 3 miles because, like, yeah, we still in Compton in the 90s, yo. Like,
right, like, and you just had to like fight off a whole gang of dudes because they hitting on your daughter. You gonna leave her to walk home? Nah, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm gonna pick you up.
Not
but I'm
walking
gonna,
3
like,
miles.
chastise you.
But yeah, you're gonna say something. I told Jay, I don't know if I told you to my son fucks up. He's his I'm not gonna beat him. I'm gonna make him work out. We're gonna be doing wall squats.
Yo,
holding paint cans and shit.
At what age are you gonna start doing that? Like, I mean, like when he turns
three.
That poor boy, yo.
Now he gonna be Jack. He gonna be Jack cutting the lawn. He'll be ready.
I'm gonna be that lady. I'm gonna be that lady from across the street and be like, aren't you working them too hard? Like, Micah, give him a break. He's 3. He accidentally drew on the wall. Leave him alone.
Drew on the wall. Oh, that's not an accident. That's an asshole.
Well, leave him. He's a baby.
He was a baby. He can walk. He got opinions.
The way he be talking back at me,
right?
He ain't no baby
anymore.
Get out of here.
Nah,
you tell me no.
He's learned to express himself. He should be firm. He should tell you no. You should.
Yo, you talking like you talk just like somebody with no kids.
Okay.
Until you have
I know.
one. Right.
This is great. I can just say this without any kind of experience with parenting.
Yeah.
And when you have a kid, when you have a kid and they hit 2, you come talk to us because that's just gonna be hilarious. Right. It's real hard. Is it? Just let them be free. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna send them to your house for punishment. I'm like, go stay with Micah and Jay.
Nah.
See punishment.
Our kids will be old enough to do sleepover somewhere else. Go.
I'm definitely gonna send them to Micah's house. I'm like, Micah, just give them shit to do. Let them change the oil in your car.
Change the oil. God damn.
Do some burpees. Do some burpees. You got all that goddamn mouth. Do some burpees. How about that? Get out of here.
Mike is trying to build Mr. Olympia.
I can't wait till like 15, 20 years from now, Micah's son is going to be like some famous athlete, like just not going to have any of like the deficiencies his father has, but it's going to have all the character building.
None of the physical deficiencies. But look, if my son is a world-class athlete, I've failed as a parent because that means that he is acting up. He ain't acting right.
Like, how'd you get so jacked? Yo, I was a pain in the ass as a kid. You run a mile under 4 minutes? Well, a lot of wall squats, my man. A lot of wall squats. Yeah, like, I think, I agree with you. I think you have to be firm with kids. I mean, look, for people who don't know, Mike and I are both parents. Our kids are roughly the same age. And, like, I would agree with you, boys. You probably should be firm with them, but I also think you have to be with girls, as well. I like in that regard. I don't think it's a good idea to be like, oh, it's fine, they'll be okay. Nah, No, I need to teach to teach my daughter because you look a little girl who's not, in my opinion, when they don't have firm parenting, they grow up to be brats. No thanks. No, I don't do that shit. And my daughter's 2 right now, which is the brattiest fucking age. Like, it is awful. It's awful. No.
So something about bragging after you win. when I played tennis in school as a kid, our coach, he would make us run suicides if he caught us celebrating our opponent's mistakes. Like we were not allowed to do that because it wasn't something that we did. It was something that they did. Only thing that we could celebrate was our own moves and our own wins. But if an opponent messed up or if they had a bad game and if he caught us just trash talking them like the Williams sisters, what was her name? Tunde or the other one?
It was the other
Isha.
one. Like, oh,
Isha, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the way that she was talking, if our coach heard us talking like that, it was basically what Micah said, just making us run because he wanted to keep us humble.
Yeah,
it's
a good lesson. Allow me to be old for a second. Be super old. It's a lesson a lot of you motherfuckers on Twitter and all these other social media, y'all ain't learned that shit. Y'all don't know how to be humble at all. And it's a lesson that people need to learn. Like, I'm the greatest motherfucker of all time. Like, just relax. Like, all right, you want a Call of Duty game? Relax. You be all right. Like, I think being humble is important, and it's not just from an athletic standpoint. I think it teaches you that when you win at something, like you take it in as going, wow, I worked really hard and I'm really proud of myself, without having to just be like, I'm awesome, everybody celebrate me. Like, people who are like that are obnoxious.
And you can also lose, and you will lose.
Right.
So
and
that's,
the people
which is why you have to be humble.
Right, because the people who don't know how to be humble are the people who crumble when they lose. If they're used to winning, they crumble. So yeah, it's a lesson a lot of people do not learn, unfortunately.
Quick scene of them playing in the rain, and they get rolled up on by the gang members, and they like, and Richard Williams is like, all right, we're about to do this. Get behind me, girls. Like, and the gang members are like, hey, Mr. Williams, you all right? He's like, yeah, we all right. He's like, all right, we got you.
Yeah, we see what you're doing.
Apparently that is somewhat true. The gang members would, certain gang members would kind of patrol the area just to make sure that, like, these two girls were practicing and no one bothered them. You see that again later in the scene where the Punisher comes in and it's like, what the fuck?
Who is this white boy? He's like, oh shit. That was great. But I mean, look, again, that's that sort of collective celebration that Black people have for each other, right? Yep. Even the gang members are like, all right, two of them might make it out of this shit, and we got to circle the wagons and protect them. Yep. Even them, like, it's a weird thing. Like, that's a weird thing in the Black community, that even people like that, who you would argue are unsavory characters, so to speak, can even recognize that they want to see people make it out. Like, they want to see them. They want to be able to say, hey, you see that shit on TV? You saw Serena and Venus? They used to live right over here. We remember them. Like, they made it out. They come from here, right? Like, I saw a thing that when Venus won, I think it was I can't remember. It was a major tournament. I can't remember what it was. U.S. Open. I think it was Venus or Serena won the U.S. Open. Richard Williams, the first thing he yelled when she won was "Straight Outta Compton," right? Like that. Like, that's their pride, right? Like, they come from there. Those are their people. That's their neighborhood. Doesn't matter all the shit that comes with it. They still came from there, which I thought was pretty dope.
So they come home, cops are there. Turns out the neighbor called Child Protective Services because, like, the way that they're, a fair argument could be made that Williams is pushing these kids, especially if you're on the outside, not knowing what's going on. Right. Like, you see them coming in all hours of the night and all that. A fair argument could be made that these kids are not being treated well. So they come in, cops are there. They're like, we need to take an inventory. And he's like, well, what you need to take inventory for, right? Oracene is like, these kids are at the top of their class, and these kids are world-class athletes. Well,
right.
Going to be world-class athletes. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Spell civilization. Like, I like how the word civilization was like the benchmark for, like, how smart you are.
Yeah.
Like,
right. He was like, I don't know how to spell that shit, but y'all better know how to spell.
Now, if he said spell restaurant, then I'd be like, oh, well, that's pretty goddamn impressive. Restaurant is the word that I will always misspell. Spell necessary.
Oh, no, you got me. I'm done. I'm like, spell check.
Spell
needed.
Tennessee.
I'd be like, needed. It's needed.
But he's like, yeah, man, like, yeah, we hard on them. We hard on them because we're supposed to be hard on them. Because if we're not hard on them, then they're gonna wind up like these kids out here committing all these crimes and doing all this dumb shit. And so, yeah, we hard on him. Now, what you gonna do about it? And
yeah, that lady was like,
okay.
I was actually I was looking at the cops in the back because I was like, are they going to show us the reactions of the black cops? So I feel like the black cops in the back are probably like, yeah, you right. Why are we even here? Yeah,
it's just like one cop like got it. All right, brother. Yeah, I mean, but he is hard on them. I mean, they are like always studying, always training, and everything else. I mean, I think there is a decent argument to be made that he pushed them a little too hard. Like, there is a decent argument to be made. I'm not even mad at that. But at the same time, like, it's, I don't know, man. I like any child athlete has been pushed incredibly hard. Like they all have. None of them were just like, popped out of the womb and then they were like these.
Any child in anything that started their career as that young, they've had to be pushed that way.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not ultimately mad at Richard Williams, but I can certainly understand this idea of being like, this seems like a bit much because it is a lot. Like, it's a lot. They're probably training 2-3 hours a day and going to school and expected to keep amazing grades, which they seem to all be doing. So, and the other sisters too. It was like, now y'all don't get the slouch because we got these 2 tennis stars. Like, y'all better be busting your ass at school too. So
and going to church and doing house chores.
Hey,
all of that.
Yeah, clean that room. All 12 of y'all live in there. So mad people in those beds.
And Oracene goes over and is just like, bitch, you better mind your fucking business.
Yep.
And she's like, all right.
To the neighbor. Like, come outside, I'll stab you. He was like, I'm good.
She was like, I've never been over here before. You know how hard it is raising a daughter. I don't ever want to come back over here again. And then she left, and I was like, dope.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't to be fooled with, man. Like, she's like, I'll drag your ass up out of this house. Like, stop playing with me. It's like, you got it, Queen Orsine. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
No biggie.
So, turns out at one of the juniors or at some event, turns out Serena had been secretly registered by her mom. White guy comes up to Richard Williams, is like, hey man, you didn't say you had 2 of them. Like, what the hell? Leave some for the rest of us, won't you? And and he's like, oh, all right, well, go ahead and finish kicking that girl's ass. That's fine. Then we see, just in case you need a timetable, we see the Williams react to the Rodney King beating.
Right.
And that obviously had a profound effect on black people everywhere. And Richard Williams is no different because he's from there. He's from California, right?
Yeah.
Not from there, but lives there.
Yeah, he was.
I
mean, Kevin, we talked about her daughter being a prostitute. It's interesting. Like, I don't know. Never mind. Go ahead.
So, Williams has a meeting with Paul. Paul arranged a meeting with a couple of bigwigs, and Richard is still kind of mad at white people, yo. Like, what the fuck, yo? Like, these cops just beat the shit out of this black man, yo. Like, right. So he's kind of pissed off at white people, yo.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. This is what I was gonna say. Robert Downey or Rodney King was only 25.
Yeah,
only 25. Like, I forget he was that young when that happened. Like, he's passed away now, but like, it's wild to remember that whole situation and then to realize just how young he was. Like, what a fucking horrible tragedy that shit was. I mean, Tara, how old were you during that time?
Wasn't that like 1991?
91, yeah.
I was born in 91.
Oh my god. Wow. That's insane. Yeah, like I remember like the Oprah episodes on that shit, and white people were like, well, if he just complied, this wouldn't have happened. I was like, wow. Okay. Like, So we just beating people damn near to death. All right, you got it. So yeah, no, it was just crazy. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, he is still mad at white people.
Yeah, he's fucking mad at white people. And who don't like, yeah, we get it. So he's having this meeting, and like you spoke about earlier, with these two, I forget where they're from. What agency or whatever they represent, but they want to make a deal, right? Like they want to lock Venus down, right? And Richard is a bit indignant. Like he's just like, nah, yo, like what the fuck you talking about, huh? What you gonna supply her with? They were like, well, we can give her shoes, rackets, and like she got that shit, son. So what you gonna do, right? Like what you think she playing out there with? Right. She ain't barefoot, hitting balls with her hand, dumb motherfucker.
I like that. Shit. They were like, do you want to sign this contract? And he was just like, he just farted and walked away. I was like, yo, that's
farted.
Which, by the way, that's not something you put in the movie unless that happened, right? Like that shit is so ignorant. Like, and like how black people mean it, like this is like some ignorant ass shit. Like that's some ignorant ass shit that you only put that in. It's like, nah, that really happened. Like, that's true. And like, he did that, like, for real.
And they were using all this language, like, well, we just think it's remarkable what you've been able to do. And he's just like, what's remarkable about it, right? Like, what's remarkable? Why is it remarkable? Is it because they black and you think less of them, motherfucker?
Yeah.
And
Jesus,
and he's look, I get it, especially now that I'm older. Shit, fuck out of here.
No, you're not gonna disrespect my daughter. Like, cause my daughter has like just curly hair, and like she like sometimes like will have a hood up, and like sometimes she'll be in at the playground. They're like, oh, your little boy's cute. I was like, she's not a little boy. They're like, oh shit. I'm like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like I don't take Carly.
That could
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Simple
I find
mistake,
it
like
disrespect.
She's got a hood up.
Disrespect. Look at her face. Her face.
All kids not all kids don't look adorable, but like
nah, don't disrespect. That's just the beginning of disrespect. Nah, I don't know. Don't do that.
I mean, I guess.
No, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. You just let them run over you, and then I gotta be Richard Williams farting in a chair. Like, nah,
I feel like it would be a little different if like you signed her up for like a music class and someone was like, it's remarkable that she can play a note, and you're like, I can see if you got offended by that, but
look, people say she speaks really well, and I'm just like, she is young.
Yo, come on, yo.
No, I don't say anything about that. I let it slide. I'm like, she's very young. That's true. She does speak really well.
She's forming like She's speaking in paragraphs. Yeah, like come on.
Like,
Jesus Christ.
Is she articulate? Is that what you're trying to say? Why? Huh? Start yelling at the playground for no reason. I let that one slide. Like when she get like 5 and you still saying that shit's gonna piss me off.
Has anyone seen your daughter and been like, are you thinking about signing up for a little basketball when she's a little older?
Yes, they have, and it pisses me off. Someone did say that. So, what did someone say? I know them, so I know what they were saying. But it slightly pissed me off. I was just like, no, we're not going to do that. They were like, because she's tall for her age, right? And they were like, oh, maybe she could be a model one day. I was like, or like a scientist. Like, the fuck? Like, no. Yeah, she's a very cute girl. Like, no, she's not gonna be a little fucking princess. Like, no. Books, my nigga, books. Like, knock it off.
Models don't read books.
A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. I said it. A lot of them don't. Yeah,
okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say that shit. I stand proudly on that. Yeah, a lot of them don't. That's fine.
If you're a model who listens to the show, please disregard Jay's disrespect.
No, don't. You look. You're one of the good ones. You're a credit to your people, but most of them don't. Just saying. That's like saying all the strippers go to college. No, they don't. They just say
So
that.
look, they're back home, and Paul is like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on, yo?" and Richard's like, "Yo, you heard them agents talking about they want to push, the kids up the ladder, and at this point he had seen how these parents act around their kids,
Yeah,
and really pushing their kids, and he's like, no, we're not signing with no agents, and we're not playing juniors anymore because." We don't, I don't want my kids to grow up and not be kids. And I am 100% in lockstep with him. Kids, people age kids up way too fast, especially black kids.
absolutely.
Because they always look at Tamir Rice. That boy was a child. He was a preteen.
Yep.
And some scaredy cat cop came up and shot him immediately because he saw him as a threat. Like, that's how they see us, man. And I am a firm believer that children should be children and to cherish those years as long as you can, especially if you have the means to do so. Some kids don't have a choice. They have to grow up quick, right? But if you got a choice, like, let your kids be kids. I don't call my son little man and all that. Like, nah, he's not a little man. He's a boy. He's a child. He has to know. He has to know that, and more importantly, y'all got to know that, because I don't want him to be perceived as something that he's not. And yeah, man, I am 100% in lockstep with him, and like,
Agreed.
It's funny because it's like, yeah, but they're really good, and you are like, here's the difficult situation, right? Like, do you stifle their training, or is it to let them be kids, or do you foster this talent at the risk that they might not grow up to be good people? Right? Like, it's the Captain America thing, right? Like, anybody could be a good soldier, but you got to be a good person.
Yeah.
And
That's exactly it.
And look how Venus and Serena turned out, yo. Like, they're amazing people. Like, just people in general.
Right.
Like, there's a reason why little kids look up to them specifically. Like, all these tennis stars, like, there's a ton of people who play tennis. There's a reason that they look up to these two specifically, and it's not only because they're black.
Right.
Like,
no, it's not. That's often a misjudgment by white people on the outside. Well, it's because they're these unique black athletes. No, dude. Because guess what? If they were fucking up, nah, it's like, no, don't follow them.
They were.
Yeah. So,
Michael, when you were talking, the person I thought about, someone who did not have a childhood because his father pushed him and his siblings really, really hard, was Michael Jackson, as an example of what happens when you don't let kids be kids.
Look what happened to him, yo. Yep. And look what happened to him, man.
All that success.
Like, Michael Jackson is one of my favorite entertainers of all time. But Michael Jackson has done some weird fucking shit. At best. And at worst is shit that I don't want to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see
his father like pushed all of them, but
they're all fucked up. But they're all fucked up. Like, Michael was definitely like the most fucked up, is probably because he was the most successful one too, right? Like, it's just like exponentially just got worse. But yeah, it's a lot of that has to do with the fact that he was never allowed to be a child. And so at like 50, he's like, let's climb a tree together and have candles and at a carnival and shit in my backyard. It's like, nigga,
I mean, he
8? And he's like, I never got to be 8. Like, he just never did.
His song, one of his songs is literally like, have you seen my childhood? Like, like
no.
I mean, it's in the song.
By the way, that was a great rendition. Pitch perfect. Excellent. So
Thank you.
I mean, God damn it. But that is very true. And like, that to me is the real power of Richard Williams, is that he held his kids out of the limelight for 3 years.
Right.
And just so that he could protect them, to keep them to be kids. And that's some really important shit. And again, stop talking about like they would have been fine if this guy didn't exist. No. Let's say they found a coach. They would have gotten burnt out just like Jennifer Capriati did. And ended up like snorting coke off a hooker's ass in a fucking motel bathroom or
stealing shit like she did.
Right. Like, you have to protect these kids. Like, one of the things that, like, another athletic success story is LeBron James. One of the big reasons why LeBron James is successful is because his mom has been there with him the whole time. Like, never forget, he was like 17.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't give a 17-year-old keys to the kingdom in the NBA and be like, you're the greatest shit since Michael Jordan. Here you go. Here's millions of dollars. He'd go crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you want to see the opposite of that? You want to see the opposite of that? Mike Tyson.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Mike Tyson is exactly, and he'd tell you that. He would tell you that.
Yep.
He didn't have anybody there. He didn't have somebody close to him.
When Gus D'Amato died,
right?
Like that was it, yo.
He lost it.
Yep.
Because he had that coach who was like looking out for that kid. And he was like, look, you got to protect this kid. You got way too much talent. He's way too young. People don't remember Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion of the world at 19. Yo, again, that's insane. You can't tell a 19-year-old you're the greatest boxer living. Here's millions of dollars. Be reasonable. We'll see you next weekend. What the fuck? Yeah, that's why there's a picture of Mike Tyson with coke under his nose. He's at a party going crazy. Like, yo, he was nuts. He needed somebody to stand with him. He needed somebody to protect him. The Williams sisters had their dad and their mom right there with them. That is a powerful thing. And that is the difference between like a good athlete and a potentially a super athlete and a person who is going to last, that they have people to protect them. So again, like you said earlier, Tiara, we should all be so lucky as to have parents, not just Richard, but Queen Ocarina of Time. Like we should I'm just being shut up. We should be
scene. Don't disrespect this black woman. And also I have also read something on Wikipedia about her that I thought was pretty dope. But go on.
I'm sorry. Queen Orsine. Whatever. Anyway, but we should all be so lucky as to have parents like that. We should. So what's your Wikipedia thing about her?
So there's a reason why Serena and Venus do so well under pressure, and it's because they got that from their mom's coaching. And it says on Wikipedia that she's been overshadowed by Richard, which we all know. But but apparently she told her daughters, there is no such thing as pressure. As Black Americans, that's all we ever had. It's like, so where's the pressure? So they credit a lot of their poise to her, and it's been a reason why they've been so successful for so long as athletes. So
again, that's a powerful thing. But it's interesting, right? Like that idea that Black people can succeed in these type of environments where they're seemingly told that they cannot, right? Or you wouldn't think that they would, because of the things that we deal with on a daily basis. It's like, this isn't a big deal. Like, all right, cool. Like, we got it. So you build a system of massive oppression and pressure, and then they learn to rise above it when the pressure's on in other ways. I read that earlier today too. I thought that was a super cool little bit of a quote. Go ahead, Micah.
So yeah, Paul is like, look, if you don't want to let these kids go into juniors, then I can't be a coach, man, because I'm wasting my time here. He's like, all right, bet, bounce, right? And
you work for us.
And Orsine is like, okay, what?
You think you should have cleared that with me? Together?
Right. Like we need to have a conversation, man. Like what are you doing? Right. And there's a lot of little things that go on in the movie where she's just like, I don't know about this. Maybe you are pushing them a little too hard, right? And it builds and builds and eventually it'll get to the scene that will play when Aunjanue Ellis is nominated for an Academy Award. That scene will play during the but we'll get there. So they're going to find a new coach. They end up finding Rick Macy, played by John Bernthal, aka the Punisher, aka Local Man from Washington D.C.
Yep.
He's like, yo, I've seen your kids. They're amazing. Here's my standard offer. I'd love to work with them. And Richard is like, oh, all right. That's great. Okay. Here, the smart one. You read this. Okay. All right. Look good. Okay. Now here's our standard offer. And then they pull out. Rick Macy's like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, you got to take all of us. And we all got to go to Florida, where you train. And this is some savvy business shit, man. Like this dude, he didn't go to Wharton School of Business or whatever the fuck Donald Trump says he goes to. Right?
He went to undergrad at Wharton. Look, don't. When people talk about Wharton Business, I have to make this distinction every time. It drives me crazy. When people talk about Wharton Business School, they're talking about the master's program, not Donald Trump going to undergrad. Oh, I went to Wharton. You ain't go to the real Wharton. You didn't. Knock it off. No. Wharton Business School master's program is what people are impressed by. Stop it.
I only said it because I knew it would. I knew it would get a reaction.
Yeah, good, because that guy sucks at business. Maybe if he made it into the master's program, he wouldn't have. Fuck him. Anyway,
so they're like, all right, well, we got to pick up and move, so you got to get us an RV. And,
they were getting everything from this dude.
Yeah, man, like that. Look, I'm not. If you gonna do it, if you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna take it.
That's right.
And they drive from California to Orlando. They take a look at the new facilities and all that shit.
Yuck.
And Orlando is
yuck.
So they take a look at the new facilities and everything looks great, right? And I'm skipping past a lot of this because a lot of it is, training. Yeah. A lot of it is meeting some of the other kids, some of the other tennis players.
Yeah, she gets to play against. Does she play against Capriati?
They just hit together.
Yeah, just training around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets to just play against her. Which, by the way, again, it's like meeting Pete Sampras and John McEnroe. Like, she is put in places next to some of the most famous tennis players in history, and it's just like, hey, you want to just hit a couple around? Like, that's just dope as hell to me. I love that. And
then you have Richard right behind her saying like, Venus, just go easy on her. Like, just little, even though he was saying it most like in jest, like he was pretty serious and making sure that she felt confident.
I feel like it was like a 50-50. He was like,
yeah, 50-50.
No,
but it's like, it's those little nuggets of like confidence that he's trying to instill in his daughters. Like, you can beat anybody. I don't care. I don't care if they got here before you. That doesn't mean that they're better than you.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead.
No, I was just going to continue. If you're going to make a point.
No, go ahead.
So eventually, they're still not playing juniors, and Venus goes up to Rick Macy, and after just months, years of practice, and Venus goes up to Rick Macy, and he's like, "So when am I going to play somebody? I really want to compete." And they're like, "Well, you gotta talk to your dad, right?" And she's like, "Well, maybe you can do it one more time." And so Rick Macy is like, hey man, like, you know, we really got to get her playing against people if she's going to get better. Plus, you know, she kind of wants it too. Right. And Richard is like, I'll think about it, right? And then he goes up to the clubhouse, gets a burger, and looks at a news report, and he's like, Jennifer Capriati now faces a serious court battle because she was arrested for running away and snorting coke and doing all this wild shit. I think it was just weed. I think she was like, was found
and then like in heroin, they mentioned.
Oh, in heroin. Okay, yeah, there you go.
A light drug.
Yeah. So Richard changes his mind. He's like, nope. I saw what you did with Capriati, and now she's strung out on heroin, right? Like he's doing the black parent thing, where it's like, I don't want you to go nowhere because until I think you're ready.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like first time I went overseas, like my parents were like, well, call me when you get there. Like,
yep.
I mean, okay, but like,
call me from the plane. Call me when you land. You got in-flight phone. Call me. Send me a text message. Yeah, absolutely. They want to check on
absolutely. Yeah, like you still look.
Your parents, your mom don't do that to you.
You're still your mother's child, yo. Like, get out of here.
I mean,
if your parents don't do that, if your parents don't do that, they don't love you.
That facts, big facts. Your mom don't do that to you.
I mean,
she couldn't wait to get your ass out of the house.
Like, I mean, I couldn't wait to leave. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she'll do the whole like just text when you land, and then text when you get to your hotel.
No, but that's what we're talking about. That's what we mean.
Okay,
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, but it doesn't feel like suffocating. It doesn't feel like like a
not
fire
exactly.
drill or
no,
just like all right, well, you be all right. That's how it feels to me.
You be all right, huh? You be all right. Yeah. Wow. You must have been a terrible, terrible daughter. Your mother just don't care. She just don't care about you. All right. Just don't end up on the pole. We be all right.
I am loved. I've been loved
You saw how she treated her father. Hey, Dad. There's a movie on. What's the movie?
Haven't talked to you in a long time. I got something I really need to tell you, Dad. Well, what is it about? And it's like, you really should watch this movie.
Yeah,
like,
Well, that was a perfect impression of her father. Yeah, that was amazing. I was like, damn. I thought that was. I thought that was.
Anything Jamaican sound?
I was like, I thought Tiara's dad.
Like a year ago.
I thought Tiara's dad was on the show at that exact moment. That was amazing. Amazing. It's hard accent-wise. I'm not saying looks-wise. It's hard to tell the difference between Tiara's father and a Shabba Ranks song. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I don't know.
That is super racist.
No, it's not.
But no,
Jamaicans are not a race. Micah. This is bigoted.
Whatever. You know what I mean. Bigoted. Micah's bigoted. But no, that conversation might have gone that way. I might have been like, hey, you might want to check this out. And I might have said, hope you're doing well. Check out this movie.
Wow.
But I said it with love.
Did you say I love you?
Yes.
Then you didn't say it with love. Nah.
You're terrible.
Get out of here.
Terrible to your poor old parents. Your poor old
parents. My parents are old.
They old.
They ain't that much older than you.
I mean, they probably not. They probably not. Like, she's only 30. They probably not.
51 years old or some shit.
One of my parents is in their early 50s, and the other one is in
their
late 50s. Yeah, my parents are in their 50s.
Yeah, my dad is 70 this year. So
I told you, my dad is 80s. He 80.
My grandparents are in their 70s.
Yeah, her parents are our contemporaries. That's true. They should listen to the show. They'd get more of the references that Mike and I make than you would. You know what? Your dad. We got a 4-man setup. We'll bring your dad on. I can translate. I'll put a little translator.
He can't make it. He won't be able to make it.
They don't have satellite TV
No,
in Kingston.
Of course. Why does it have to be Kingston?
That's the only place I know over there.
Yeah, of course.
Los Ochos Rios. I don't know.
I mean, you could have said Montego Bay.
Okay, there you go. Did he live in
No,
Montego Bay?
He doesn't live there either.
No, he lives in Kingston. Yeah, don't try to deny.
No, it's not Kingston. I'm not telling you which.
Yeah, he lives in Kingston.
Where he lives.
Yeah.
But no, he won't be able to make it. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna contact him.
Okay, that's fine.
Google.
You can try. I don't know how you'll do that, but sure.
I have my ways. Anyway,
so he says he's not doing it. We get a scene of Rick coming up, and he's like, "Hey, man, like you want to jerk my chain? Fine, whatever, but like don't do it to those girls, man." And Richard is just like, "Nah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna go pro when I tell them to go pro, right? Because I know my daughters, right?" And he's like, "Look, you're not doing what they want. Like you did a good job, but now you're being extra. You're being too much. And don't forget who bought that house that you living in, right?" and
that was fucking hilarious. He was like, "Don't do that. Like, you better than
don't
that.
do that." Like, no, I'm not better than that.
I'm not better than that. Get out. Get out.
And then here's the scene.
Y'all just throw it in his face like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you can't throw it too hard.
If I can make 15% of what they are going to eventually make, yeah, I'm a remind him.
But you can't remind him too hard.
It'll be a little stronger. Yeah, it'll be a little stronger than an email. Hey, this is just a gentle reminder. Right. It won't be a gentle reminder, but it's going to be a reminder.
Yeah, but you can't go too hard because I'm not trying to lose that 15%. That's a lot of money. A lot of money left on the table. That's all I'm saying. A lot of money left on the table. I'd be like, I hear you, Richard. I hear you.
So here's the scene. Here's Andre Ellis's scene. When they go in and he goes in and they have this really, really good scene with each other. And, Richard is like, I'm the one who did this. Like, this is me, right? I'm the one who put this whole thing together. And now everybody got a problem with my plan and what I want to do when I'm the one that put this plan together. Right. And then they talk about, how, when we first met, you ain't even tell me your real name because you just like them white boys. You think I'm just another dumb nigga. And she's like, nah, yo, like you think that I don't do anything. Nah, yo, I'm always doing stuff. You just don't want to see it. Right. Yeah. And that's a problem that men have. Especially, well, I won't say especially black men, just because I will say that I see black couples more than I see any other racial couples, right?
Sure.
And black women, and look, this isn't me just trying to be like, trying to get points or whatever, right? Like black women do a lot, yo, and they don't get the shine. And it's I don't know. I grew up around a lot of that. You know what I mean?
Yep, me too.
And I understand. So I understand where this woman is coming from. And most of them don't get the chance to voice it. Like, but this character is giving that woman who is working and raising the kids and keeping a clean house and doing all of this stuff that partners are supposed to do. She's taking it on by herself.
Right.
And this is a wonderful scene. It basically is what I'm saying. Like I fucking love it. And you see the kids up there, they like, oh shit.
They getting a divorce,
and right. And she's like, hey, look at all these businesses that you started and quit. Meanwhile, I'm here doing what I'm supposed to do for this family because I don't quit.
Yeah,
and that's the difference between us. Right. Like that's the difference between you and me. Right. I am always going to be here for you and these kids. And you need to recognize that. Like, this is a great scene.
But she also brings up his other kids too. And how like
his son
showed up at her house. Like when she was like, She was like, "Yeah, you quit just like your other kids." And I was like, "Oh,
like, oh shit!" She threw that shit right in his face. I was like,
surely did.
"I'm not mad at you, yo. Like, this. How much she's supposed to take?" Because she was like, I do a lot. And he was like, "What, you want to thank you?" I was like, "Yeah, that feels like disrespect. Don't do that."
And she also brings up how she helped Serena with her game.
Yeah, that she had to fix. She had to fix the serve that he fucked up. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I read somewhere that she learned how to play tennis herself so she could teach her daughters.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Like one of the other things, it's like, ironically, her fixing that serve, Serena, one of the things Serena's known for is her absolute monster of a fucking serve. So, that a lot of people have a hard time returning.
And Serena's the what? Greatest of all time? Right?
Just saying. Like,
all right.
But look, Richard had that plan too. He had it written down, so he did.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to you eventually.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got you. But I actually love that reasoning because it seems to bore out to be actually pretty accurate. But yeah, that scene between the two of them and her saying like, "Look, like just because I'm upset with you, basically, doesn't ever mean that I thought you were just," as she says, quote, "just some dumb nigga." Like, you think that other people think that about you. That's your fucking problem. That's not what I'm saying to you. That I've never treated you that way, which I thought was powerful. Like, that performance in that scene was, in my opinion, not only the best scene in the movie, second best scene in the movie for me. But I totally understand why people think it's the best scene. But it's like a Viola Davis level delivery of those lines. Like it is incredibly impressive because you can tell she's pulling some like real shit from herself in that scene. Like there's a difference in reciting lines and then putting something personal in that performance. And I thought it was really quite impressive.
Aunjanue Ellis is one of those actresses who is, I think Black audiences recognize her.
Absolutely.
But she definitely deserves more roles. More recognition than what she's gotten. I mean, she kills it in pretty much every role that she has.
Ironic for the role she's playing in this, right? She underappreciated. But she's one of those Black actresses, like, she deserves to get her flowers now before she's gone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she absolutely does. And in this movie, she proved it. And I like that they went with her, which is because that role is so much, it's so understated that they didn't pick like a Viola Davis. Like, she's too big of an actress to play something like that. So I'm glad they picked her, but she crushed it. She's absolutely crushed it.
Yeah. And Ollie paired with a big name such as Will Smith, that you hope that this is the movie that's finally going to get people to recognize, like, she's been here this entire time and been great. You just haven't given her a shot.
Yeah, exactly. So
look, this movie is using the cheat code, right? Like, because you got that scene, right? That scene, that great scene, right? Like, to get your emotions stirred up, right? Like sisters be doing it for themselves, man. Like, yeah, right. And then immediately they go to the onion cutting scene, and it's Venus training at night, and she.
Let me just.
Yeah. Go ahead, nigga. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
And Richard comes down and he tells the story. He's like, when I was a kid, I had to go, hand this money to this white guy. I forget what the initial reason was, but I had to hand this money to this white guy. Back in them days,
to pay
black
for
people
something.
weren't supposed to touch white people, right? To pay for something. And black people weren't supposed to touch white people. And I gave him the money to pay for this thing, and I accidentally touched his hand, and he pushed me down, and these white men beat on me, right? They beat the shit out of me. And I saw my dad in the crowd, and he ran away. He took off running. And I need you to know that I'm not going to run. Like, I can't. Look, he's like, I haven't been a daddy long, but I've never done nothing but to try and protect you, and I'm never going to run away from you. That's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And by you taking this next step, it's going to be hard. it's going to be hard for anybody, but it's especially going to be hard for you because you are going to be representing your whole fucking race, dude. And I'm just like, he said, you're going to be representing every little black girl on Earth.
Not even in America, dude. Not even in America, dude. On Earth.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, nigga. All right, I got to get up. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to...
Pause it. Pause the movie. Pause the movie. I'll be right back. Hold on. No,
like, I don't ever want to see you run away, man. Like,
but
all right, bro.
That scene, fucking hell,
that
dude.
actress, the way that actress responded with crying and saying like, "Well, then let's show everyone that I can handle it." And I'm just like, "You go, little black girl," because I'm one of the little black girls that looks up to you. You represent me,
but like,
I put all my hopes and dreams into you.
Yeah. Right, like, dude. So much about that scene is incredible, right? Like, you're right, Micah. It's juxtaposed to this scene where you're just like, wow, like, here the parents are having this argument, and, you know, you got this black woman like, I'm standing by you, and you are basically, she calls out, and I love when movies do this, she calls out what his fatal flaw is. He is terrified to fail on a large scale. That's why he runs, that's why he quits businesses, right? When it starts to move up, it gets too scary, and he's like, like, and some people have that fear, right? And that's a very real fear a lot of people possess. And you know, Asreen calls that out, and that spurs him to be like, all right, I like to hear it. He's like, oh shit, I gotta let my daughter know like why I'm doing this, right? And he has that conversation with her. And look, when he says, look, I don't know if he really said that line to her, you know, you're going to represent all, you know, every little black girl on earth. That's a powerful fucking thing to say to someone. And it's not only just a powerful thing to say, it's literally true. It's literally fucking true. Like, again, like I mentioned, Naomi Osaka looked up to Serena, right? And Venus growing up. She is not a black girl who grew up here. She grew up in Japan.
Right.
Right. So she is a little black girl on earth looking at this and being like, I can do that too. Right. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if he really said that to her or if they just wrote that for the movie, but that's a powerful fucking line. And, you know, her saying, you know, let's just show him or whatever. That's not the part that fucked me up. Like him saying that and crying and telling her that he was going to be there for her. That fucked me up. Yeah. But her response when she says, you know, I just don't want to let you down. And he was like, how could you? I was like, that's it. Like, yo, there, like that is a powerful moment where a kid knows that you back them so much that they're scared to let you down. Like that's important. That's an important connection between daughters and fathers. Look, like kids are amazing in a lot of ways. And I don't have a son, but I do have a daughter. And to see that, like, I can see myself in that moment. I can see my daughter in that moment. That should, like, that is as gut-wrenching in a good way as movies get for me. Like, it does. And I'm like, I am so old. I am such a dad now. Like, immediately, dude. I couldn't watch the trailer. Every time I watch a trailer, I get choked up because that scene is in it. And I'm like, all right, Will, I get it. Like, just fucking take the Oscar.
Calm down.
Jesus Christ. We get it, dude. But it's such a powerful scene. And it really is. And for then, you know, that idea of like, we're going to take this next step. Because, again, he is terrified not only for her, he's also terrified for himself. He's legitimately scared, right? But he's willing to take it because he can see it in her now that she's ready.
Yep.
That's why, by the way, if you're wondering why he couldn't sit in the stands and watch his daughter play, that's how fucking scared he was. That's what that scene is. Him standing away he's so terrified to see it. Like he's got to have a layer between it, which is the television. Like he can't do it. And it wasn't until that momentum and she was losing that it was like she needs her dad. She needs to see her father standing there, and that was him doing the opposite or him doing what he said he would do, which is I will not run. I will be there for you. So, fucking tremendous scene. Really. So when people say this movie is showy, get the fuck out of here. That scene, if you're not a dad, especially a black father, you don't get how powerful that scene is. Like you truly don't understand. So,
So let's fast forward a bit. A Nike representative comes in, wants to give her like $3 million,
Yeah.
right, to lock her down with Nike.
You taking it?
Hadn't even seen her play. Me, I don't have. I can't see the forest through the trees, so yeah, I would take it.
How about I'll take 1.5. Don't get crazy.
I would be suspicious of someone who offers that much money and then says you have to make a decision tonight, like right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
And they
problem.
haven't even and they haven't even seen me play. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the problem. And but luckily, my wife she's always been like, let's sleep on it, right? Like, calm down, right? Otherwise, we'd be out, right? Like, I wouldn't. Yeah,
We
she's
rich,
better
y'all.
than me, is what I'm saying. Right, she's better than me, is what I'm trying to say.
In every way, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, look, there's no argument there. I'm not going to
absolutely
argue.
no.
I'm thinking about naming
That's
the episode
great.
that. So go ahead.
Look, let's fast forward to the end. Venus is competing against Sanchez Vicario from Spain. I can't pronounce her first name because it has an X in it. She comes out with the classic look that we all know and love, with the beads.
I love that reveal.
Yep.
It was so good.
Yeah,
Again,
it's like her hero costume.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's like you got to go against the final villain. Yep. I teared up the second she came out. I was like, I was useless like that last 20 minutes. Fucking forget it.
And you can watch this entire match on YouTube if you
Yep.
want, minus the break. But so Venus is kicking this chick's ass, right? And it gets to the point where Sanchez Vicario is like, I need to go pee, right? And she's taking a very long time, and I said, oh shit, like she's icing her, right? And that's exactly what John Bernthal was like. It was like, this is a dirty trick. She's icing her to try and kill her momentum, and that shit works, man. Like,
Yep.
like that shit works. And Venus starts losing, and like you said, this is when Dad comes out and he's like, you need to see me, and I'm here for you. Just play your game, right? Eventually, spoiler for real life, Venus loses that game. She said now that it was very difficult for her to go back and revisit this match that she knows she should have won. She's like, it was hard to watch this because I know I could have won.
Yeah.
Right. I should have won.
Yeah, if that momentum hadn't broken, she would have destroyed him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's beating that ass.
Yeah, and that's what happened. That's what happened in the locker room after the match. After the match, she's dejected. Her parents come in. They do what good parents do, right? Like, they encourage their kid. And she was, the kid does what the kid does. Like, you were counting on me, right? Like, like feeling the weight of the world or whatever. And he's like, look, you went toe to toe for 2 hours with the number one player in the world in your first professional match. And Mom was like, yo, you had that girl shook, yo.
You did.
Like,
Yep.
like she had to go take a pee break or whatever.
For 9 minutes.
For 9 minutes.
Right. Because you were whooping her ass, right?
Yep.
Like, you ain't got nothing to be sad about.
No.
And again,
that's a hell of a performance, man. That's a hell of a performance.
And this is a tennis player who was not competing for 3 whole years.
Right.
And she came in and just came super close to beating the number one person in the world. Like,
yeah.
What is there to be upset about? Like, except for the fact that you didn't win, but
yeah.
So they all come out, and she Venus gets all this adulation
Well,
from
hold
all
on.
these little girls.
Hold on, before we get there, because there is another important scene, which is actually the Serena scene, right? Where that's actually right before this match, where Serena is standing there and she's just like she's looking over like at the center court where her sister's going to play the next day for the finals, and Richard Williams walks up to her and he's like, "Look, I know you feel like you're being left out. I know that, but I know you live in your sister's shadow, right? Because you're younger, but that was a part of my plan, right? He's like, because you are hungrier, you are a fighter. You know, your sister's going to be the number one in the world. He's like, that is going to happen, but you're going to be the greatest of all time. And that's a part of my plan is to basically keep you there so that you would fight harder. Again, not sure if that's true, but goddamn, does that work for the movie though? Like it does work for the movie because the movie has such a focus on Venus for obvious reasons because she's the first to go pro. Right. She's a little bit older, only by a year. And so you want to find out more about Serena and where Serena is going. And they touch on it a little bit here and there, but you know that here is arguably the greatest athlete of all time is not the focus. But to get that scene where you're like, don't worry about it. Like, you coming. Don't worry about it. Like, it kind of feels good. Like, it's a good way to explain where she is in this timeline. Like, I know you're right where you're supposed to be. And she is. And she ends up fucking dominating. And like, incidentally, Venus, when she was in juniors, she went 63-0 before that 3-year hiatus, which is, pretty much, insane. Serena, when she played juniors, she only lost twice. She only lost to her, and the person she lost to was her sister. That was it. They were fucking amazing.
What was her record? Do you know what the record was?
Probably, 60 something and
okay.
In two. But what's also interesting is I remember when the two of them eventually played each other like in a pro match. And it was like that one moment where like Venus was still like considered better than Serena. And people were like, I don't know, man, like Serena's really fucking good. And like Serena started getting just physically bigger because she's just physically bigger than her sister. And she beat Venus in one match where she knocked the racket out of her hand during a serve. And then people were like, yeah, I think Serena's going to surpass her sister. It was like, yeah, like the torch was like quite literally past them. So, yeah, I mean, to see them also play together in doubles has also been kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, go ahead, Michael.
We're at the end.
So they walk out and all these people are there.
Yeah, they walk out. All these people are
little black girls
cheering on, and
little
black girls, little white girls, little Mexican girls, or little everybody. It's
chanting Venus's name.
Yeah. This is Look, this movie's great, man. This movie's great. Look, it's not a documentary, right? Like, I'm sure there are a lot of things that this movie kind of left out. Like this movie for the most part, for like 80 to 90% of the movie paints Richard Williams as like this, mad genius, almost perfect dad, like near perfect dad. I'm sure he has his flaws and all that, but like,
of course,
this is the movie that they're telling, and I think they told it well. And look, I hope it gets recognized during award season.
Yep, absolutely.
And I know there's been criticism about like the movie not going too deep into his other issues with his other family and his other kids. I think the only reason why I don't have an issue as to why they didn't go into it, and it's mainly because Serena and Venus saw this movie and were okay with them not getting into that. And my personal stance is if they're okay with it, I personally don't need to be upset that they didn't touch on that issue.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, like, do you care?
No,
I don't. I care about the only reason I care about Richard Williams is in direct relation to what he has done with Venus and Serena. All these people who are like, oh, wow, well, they're making it about him. Yo, it's about Venus and Serena and the inspiration that those two athletes got to play tennis. It's literally a story about the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just I get it. Like, and the movie even touched on it, right? Like, what about
Right.
what about your son that you just abandoned, right? Like, but I don't care about that. I care about Venus and Serena and this relationship that they have with their very outspoken, kind of weird dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who if you grew up in that time, you know who that guy is. You've seen that
Yep.
guy.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, I think you're right. Like, do you care about those other children? No, you don't.
No.
You don't. Stop
You
pretending
don't.
that you
I
do.
don't think anyone really does. They
No.
personally.
Yeah, you don't. And it's a lie to say that you do. Like, you're here to watch the story that surrounds the legend of Venus and Serena and the person who got them there. That's it.
Yep.
It's okay.
I mean,
It's okay, so-
they didn't even touch on that their sister Tunde ended up being murdered.
Yeah,
Like-
she was murdered.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Jeez.
Yeah. She was murdered in 2003.
Wow, that's really fucking sad.
Yeah, they didn't touch on that. So it's like, why would they?
Right.
So
Yikes! I didn't know that. Thanks for the downer, guys.
oh yeah, sorry, didn't mean to bring the podcast down. That little factoid.
Classic. Thanks. No. All right. I think that's it for us for episode 211, King Richard. I hope everybody had a good time until the end there when Tiara ruined it, but whatever. Facts. See, look at the chat. They're like, geez, you ruined it. Such a good time we were all having.
That's not what they're saying. They didn't say I ruined it.
As positive black people. All right, that's it for us. We will see you guys next week for another preview episode for episode 212.
See ya.
Bye.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.